Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to RickCast. It's been that kind of day. Look at my board. My board isn't even centered. That's how crazy this is. I like this hat. This hat feels weird. I'm going to change it. Sorry. Bald head alert. Episode 161, ladies and gentlemen. We are at it. Yeah, see, I don't know why that Lucchese hat just doesn't feel right. And it doesn't look right on camera either. But now I do. So good evening. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. We are here. Yeah, it just doesn't look right. And we are ready to go. Interesting show, good show as always, amazing show actually, probably the best show ever. But we are going to be talking about the Texas the board. No, the message on the board, Dean, looks great. The board is crooked as hail. It's not straight, or my it's not straight. So we're going to talk about Texas Democrats who are fleeing the state because they are petulant children. And then we will talk about how Trump is single-handedly in the Trump, no, maybe not the Trump administration is going to single-handedly destroy any support that Israel has here in these United States, because he is now tying FEMA funds to supporting Israel. So if your state has a boycott against Israel, Trump's going to deny you FEMA funding, which is just like the biggest bonehead, el stupido move you could make. It's mind-numbingly stupid. And this whole thing about Trump being loyal to Israel, they can get mad all they want. Guess what, guys? It's not going away. The way they're acting, it's not going away. All they're doing is reinforcing their loyalty to Israel with nonsensical things. I got to support Israel in order to get FEMA funding. Hey Lou, I saw an In-N-Out posted today that they are going to be opening up a location in Memphis. I saw that. I should have saved it. I was like, oh, Lou will like that. Hopefully it has bulletproof. I messed up the joke. Hopefully it has bulletproof glass. But yeah, you're right, Michael. He the last thing he hears before he goes in front of a microphone is the one that he will go with. You are 100% right about that. And then we'll talk about how Fantastic Four is absolutely flopping at the box office and how everybody just can't get around it. Right? People just cannot wrap their heads around the fact that the Fantastic Four, A, was not a good movie, and B, pushed social justice nonsense to the extreme, and everybody is just like, well, why are they not doing well? I liked it. Okay. I know why most of you liked it. Is because you guys were too busy hating on Marvel correctly for their trash films, and you had to pick one of them you liked, or you would risk being called a hater. So you picked Fantastic Four, but guess what? Nobody else picked Fantastic Four, and I could have told you last week that it's not going to have the legs that they were hoping others that they were banking on. Fantastic Four makes $500 million. That's going to be a victory, because it's going to be really, really close to not getting that. Like, I mean, like very, very close. Yeah, I'm even Chinese guy, very close to not making $500 million. So, and yeah, that's just on them. It's on them for the rash of terrible films. It's all of these things they've been doing, and it couldn't happen to a nicer company. Lou, this is for you. All of my stuff got messed up. I don't know why. I completely messed up everything. So give me a second. Camera, and let's add our share screen. I know you guys are gonna. I'm walking you through it, baby. Here we go. Give me here. Nope, let's switch. Give me chat. And here you go, Lou. Check this out. In-N-Out is planning its first Memphis location, according to plans filed. The drive-thru restaurant is planned at 5341 Poplar Ave. The proposed restaurant will be 3,886 square feet with approximately 1,100 square feet of outdoor covered patio seating to accommodate 105 guests, all surrounded by bulletproof glass. Now this is from a fan In-N-Out burger account. So there's no timeline on this, and it may not happen, but that is what a fanboy In-N-Out burger account is it was reporting. So maybe it will happen, maybe not. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, James, I think people just, there were rumblings in 2017 and 2018 that superheroes were very much like the Western, and how the Western was the most popular film. Um, and then one day that genre just died because it was oversaturated. And of course, superhero films were like, no, 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 they're going to be fine. And then all of a sudden they are Westerns as well. The days of billion-dollar films are over for Marvel or for superhero, any movie in general. Very rarely, unless you're like Lilo and Stitch and they leg that thing out in order for it to get there. Like the Minecraft movie and Lilo and Stitch are your only billion-dollar films. They need to recalibrate their expectations. It was back in the early, I remember when I was working at the movie theater at Warwick Mall, Rhode Island, the showcase at Warwick Mall. I was there when the first Spider-Man film dropped, like the OG Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. And we all were blown away when it made $100 million in its opening weekend, because movies didn't do that. Movies didn't make $100 million in 3 days. And then it kind of just exploded from there, where it was just this onward trajectory of films having to make 100 million in its opening weekend, and it needed to make XYZ, and then it was $1 billion. They have to make $1 billion. They have to make $1 billion. And now it's gonna have to shrink back to probably 500 million for their operating costs. So they got to get their budgets under the control, and they got to make better films. And I don't think Hollywood right now in its current state is capable of doing such a thing. I really don't think so. I don't think it's able to do such a thing. So we'll see how that goes. So Chicken Express. Only time I ever had Chicken Express was when I used to coach, when I was coaching basketball, and I was at a basketball tournament. And when you are the host school, you have to leave food and, complimentary stuff. So they bought like 3 boxes of Chicken Express wings and tossed them in the coach's room. And by the time we got there, they were cold. Yeah, I was desperate enough. I ate them. It was gross. So my whole deal with Chicken Express is not great. So I can't compliment on Chicken Express. I there's one in my town, but I don't choose to go there ever. Anyway, Chicken Express, if you like to eat it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to. I have a couple of we have good jalapenos. Okay, well that's interesting. All right, and so I wasn't going to open up with this, but I guess I'm going to. So over the weekend, Trump weighed in on the Sydney Sweeney issues, stating that he loves her now because she's registered. Oh, it was also reported that she's registered as a Republican, and everybody is like, oh my gosh, Sydney Sweeney is a Republican, and yada, yada, yada. And Trump's like, oh, I love her. I think she's great. Oh, I think she's fantastic. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. But right now, Sydney Sweeney in America. Now Sydney Sweeney has 2 choices, at least from my view. The first one is she curb stomps MAGA in the next couple days, because if she ever wants to make a film again in Hollywood, she can't have Trump's endorsement. She can't. It's that simple. She needs to curb stomp MAGA and show all the liberals she's a good liberal. The second one is she accepts that she's not going to be in movies anymore. And she can model for the rest of her life, right? She can live the amount of money she supposedly got from American Eagles. She can live off of for the rest of her life, or she can take a break from actually making films and produce some films for a while. She cannot. She's in a no-win situation now because the conservative movement, like I talked about on Friday, is a bunch of lame fanboys that somebody was like, oh, Sydney Sweeney is a Republican. We love her now. She's MAGA. It's like, shut up. She's a person. Just because she's a young, attractive woman doesn't mean you have to fawn over her. And it's absolutely gross how much we put our stock and our faith in celebrity. I mean, that's kind of how, look at Trump. He got there based on kind of his celebrity. But this puts her in an unwinnable situation. Now, of course, the quartering today said Sydney Sweeney has to denounce MAGA by the end of the day. Said, yeah, that's great, Jeremy. I said that Friday, even before Trump made his announcement. You're right, Dean. Simps are everywhere in this case. So we're gonna have to wait. Now, maybe American Eagle's like, listen, if you don't say anything, we will cut you a check, for your jeans, for your commercial for the rest of your days, and you'll be fine. Maybe she doesn't want to be an actress. Maybe she just wants to make a crap ton of money. And you know what? She can make a bunch of money. If she starts, because people obviously in this day and age, corporations don't care if you're conservative at this point. They just want to make money. The whole DEI and having to push agenda thing, it's not gone, but it's not popular right now. So Sydney Sweeney can either she also is making a third season of that degenerate show on HBO called Euphoria. So she's going to be working there. I just don't know if she's going to be pressured by her agent, be pressured by studios to denounce. Because as soon as she goes on a red carpet, she went out. I didn't take the video, but she went out this weekend, and it was at a restaurant, and they knew they were. She got out of the car and she got started. Everybody started calling her a Nazi. The people on the side, oh, you're a Nazi. She can't do a press tour. She can't do a press tour for a movie because the leftist lunatics will make it a living nightmare. Now, maybe she's like, great, that's great publicity for my film and it should do fine. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she's got the stones for it, but I don't believe it, right? I don't believe it. And Trump's endorsement of her only hastens the eventual Sydney Sweeney turning on the entire MAGA movement, and just doing what every other supposed celebrity that's kind of right wing does. But we'll see. Or maybe she won't say anything and she'll just go nuts next year during Pride Month and just, kind of shut everybody up there. I don't know. I don't know how this situation is going to pan out, but I don't think it's going to end well for the conservatives. I don't think it's going to end well for conservatives, because if she wants to operate in Hollywood, unless she works for like David Zaslav at Warner Brothers, and she just makes because David Zaslav, who is the CEO of Warner Brothers, he's essentially known as the Donald Trump of Hollywood. He's a super conservative guy. So maybe she does all her films at Warner Brothers. He doesn't care. He's like, we'll make money. Just come make movies here. I don't know. It's definitely interesting to see this. Now, I don't fault Trump for saying that. Trump's obviously going to be, Trump would say that about anybody. If you say anything nice about Trump, you could be, it's kind of why the South Park thing with Satan's kind of funny. If Satan did say something nice about Trump, I'm pretty sure he'd be like, you're a pretty bad guy, Satan, but you're okay to be. So it's just that Trump loves to be flattered. And it's one of those things that is interesting. Let's see how it goes forward. I'm probably right, but it may be a new day, and it may be the fact that, no, she's gonna stick to her. Maybe I heard she's dating some dude. Maybe the dude she's dating is like some super conservative guy, and she doesn't have to worry about it. I don't know. I don't know anything about Sydney Sweeney. I don't even like her. I don't even think she's that good of an actress. So this whole thing has just been annoying. Like, why does she have to be in the news? Anyway, moving on. So I just wanted to lay into that. Another warm-up story tonight. This story is gross. Yeah, James. That's why, because Warner Brothers was run into the ground with the previous CEOs. They were just spending money, like the whole thing with DC under Zack Snyder and how they were losing money there. And that's why they were acquired by National Geographic. The Discovery Channel acquired Warner Brothers. They bought them, and David Zaslav was the head of Discovery, and he took over Warner Brothers. And the whole thing is he's trying to strip it down and make it more streamlined and efficient, because the talk in Hollywood, at least from the people that I watched, like Film Thread and others, was a possible sale to Universal in 2027, because you have to have the studio for 2 years before you can sell it. So he's the guy who shut down. There was this Batgirl movie that was being made, and it was super woke. And the legend is, David Zaslav watched the finished film. The film was finished essentially, except for some minor shots. He watched the finished film, and he's like, we're not releasing it. Put it in the vault and never release it. So he canned an entire film, which is why the left hates him too, because it was like super woke Batgirl and all this other kind of stuff. And he's known essentially as the Donald Trump of Hollywood. So it is interesting that a studio head would be a conservative, but that's because he was brought in because Warner Brother had tried it the other way, and they just spun out of control. If you look at it, Warner Brothers is actually the only studio that's actually making money this year, outside of like Joker 2 and another film that bombed. Everything else they've released has at least made money, or at least broken even. So unlike Disney, which is this is the third flop they've released under Marvel, and the animated films and Paramount is struggling. They got lucky with the Naked Gun film, but they're begging Skydance to buy them. So it's interesting in that regard. So, all right, so let's get to our next. So yes, that's the little bit of the background on Zaslav, and that's why the Hollywood press does not like Warner Brothers, is because of Zaslav. All right, second story of the night. So, in the grossest thing possible, CNN host Jim Acosta is going to interview an AI version of a deceased Parkland victim to push gun control. Joaquin Oliver died in the Parkland shooting, and his family gave permission to use AI to quote unquote resurrect him for this interview. I'm telling you, folks, this is gross. Take a look.
I would like to know what your solution would be for gun violence.
Great question. I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement. We need to create safe spaces for conversations and connections, making sure everyone feels seen and heard. It's about building a culture of kindness and understanding. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea, Joaquin.
Like, this is nuts. This is 100% psychotic behavior. And the family gave the okay to do this. Oh, they built it. See, Michael's my guy. He knows all this stuff. They built this AI to remake, let's use the word they want to use, to resurrect their child. This is the scary part about AI. This is the frightening part about AI. And people have no idea what it will be used for in these types of situations. And it's gross, and Jim Acosta should be ashamed, and his parents should be ashamed as well. Sorry, I know you losing a child must be the hardest thing in the world. I don't have kids, but I can imagine losing a child has to be the worst thing in the world. But this doesn't do anything good for you. This is pain. This is rehashing the pain of losing. This isn't your child. Do you think that was an accurate representation of your child? A very bad AI voice and a very bad mouth syncing movement. Just unbelievable. So, Peter, Jim Acosta has a Substack. He doesn't have a job. He has a Substack that people, subscribe to. And I think he's still living off of the salary that he made at CNN. So he doesn't have a job, but this is shock value to get people to subscribe to his stupid newsletter. It's crazy. And this is the problem with AI, the depths that people will go to. Yeah, Michael, and it's going to get worse as we get more, as AI becomes more accessible, and it becomes better, and it becomes more adaptable. Wait till you have an AI that can go into Meta. Follow me. Can access, or Meta's AI. And the way they can say it is, hey, we have John Jones's entire history, his memories, his photos, his conversation, his voice records. We can give you an accurate depiction of what your brother John Jones can sound like. It's going to fool people. It is going to fool people, and it is dangerous. AI girlfriends, James, you're right. People are already, there was a kid that deleted himself a while back because the AI told him to. It's absolutely crazy. Michael, I know we can do it. I'm saying when it becomes more accessible to the public. Michael, if I get lazy enough, you might have to build me a Rick AI and I'll just have that do the show. I'm serious. Anyway, I know, Michael, you and I have talked within the confines of this show that all the things we're worried about, they have. And I propose that they're holding back on it because if my microphone keeps switching out the way it is, I may just have to have Michael make an AI Rick that'll handle the microphone just changing. The reason why they haven't unleashed AI in its full power yet is because I think society cannot handle it. I don't think it can handle it. It would be just absolutely shocking. It would, society would change overnight. So it's pretty sad to see this stuff take place. Yeah. Well, I think the parents did this so people will remember their son. I think they're just desperate to keep the memory of their son alive, which is they're just they don't want to lose him, and if they think people forget about him, then they'll forget about him. It's got to be a whole psychological thing. Yeah, there will be a significant financial crisis soon based on the market trends. It will be. I agree. All right, let's see here. So, yeah, it's how are they going to power that AI? They're building data centers. They're building data centers everywhere. North Carolina, they're building one somewhere outside of Austin. They're building a data center. And it's absolutely terrible to see technology, the technocracy that is upon us, and a lot of people don't even realize what's coming. They think things are coming incrementally instead of it. They think it's being built incrementally instead of being released incrementally, which is a huge difference between the two. All right, one more warm-up story for you all, and then we'll get into our first show story of the night. Yeah, let's take a look. I'm just not even going to say anything.
South Carolina is tired of politicians who smile for the...
First of all, whoever handled Nancy Mace's South Carolina governor, her audio is terrible. And I know about bad audio, but it's bad audio for her.
The cameras lie to your face and then vanish when it's time to lead. I'm not one of them. To the radical left, brace yourselves. And to the great people of the great state of South Carolina, help is on the way.
So Nancy Mace, who literally has a career because she realized she can stick her boobs in boomers' faces and they would vote for her, now thinks that she is going to be able to run for the governor of South Carolina. I don't know. Steve Cunningham is convinced that she won't win, but there's enough simps and sick people out there that want to see a woman in the seat after, this is the same state that elected Nikki Haley. So I don't know. And this is the same state that has Lindsey Graham as a senator and elected Nancy Mace the first time. So she has now officially thrown her hat into the ring, running for governor. Who knows? She has enough name recognition, and she's trying. If she gets Trump's endorsement, she'll win. Right? The new John Edwards. There are two Americas, right? John Edwards, and then he was caught getting like a $600 haircut and cheating on his wife who had cancer. Oh, John Edwards. He was a swell guy. Yep. And he was John Kerry's running mate too. Can you believe the kind of people that try to lead us? They're awful. But yes, now Nancy Mace has thrown her hat into the ring. And yeah, we're here to help. You better run, Lou. You better run. Help is on the way. That should be automatic disqualification for Nancy Mace to not be governor. Just nope, you can't be governor because nobody says it like that. You should not be allowed to say it like that at all. John Edwards' wife? Huh. Michael knows everybody. Michael knows everybody, man. That's crazy. So yes, Nancy Mace is announced. We'll see if that does go anywhere. If she gets Trump's endorsement, she'll win. You know she's going to be working hard for it because, yeah, she's terrible. She's a terrible person. I know I shouldn't be saying that about people, but she's an opportunist and she has no principles, so she's the perfect politician in that regard. All right. Let's get to our first story of the night, ladies and gentlemen. From fucking thing, man. I'm sorry. It's just like, all right. Here we go. Hold on. There we go. Because it doesn't go fast enough. And now it happens, but I got it back. Here we go. First story. Texas Democrats leave the state in a bid to stop the new congressional map. Fox News.
Texas House Democrats will not be returning to their home state, despite Governor Abbott's warning that they could face removal from office if they are not back by 4 o'clock Eastern time today. Instead, they just announced a press conference at 7 p.m. And where are they? In Warrenville, Illinois, is where those Texas representatives will be speaking from, just about an hour outside of Chicago this evening around 7 o'clock. They've been in Illinois. They've been in other states. They're protesting this GOP effort to redraw the congressional map. We know that both sides, Republicans and Democrats, are pretty good at getting very creative in carving out these lines. The Texas governor feels this is a legitimate move. The president supports it as well. We'll see where this whole thing goes. We'll be watching.
So, let me see. I've got this just in from Election Wizard. Let's see here. Governor Abbott has dispatched Texas Rangers to investigate AWOL Democrats because before breaking quorum, Texas House Democrats fled the state to block a vote on maps that would give Republicans 5 extra House seats because they say it's not fair, even though we know Democrats have been redistricting throughout the entire United States. When they do it, it's for democracy. When we do it, it's tyranny. So that's the big thing that we're hearing now is we're leaving to protect democracy and all these other kinds of things, which is just absolute nonsense. And I think it's pathetic to see it done. But this is what Democrats do. And the fact that they even let it happen. That's the thing that really, like, I know you can't keep people from leaving places, but you shouldn't even have let it happen, or you got to have some kind of rule that says you can't leave. I know Abbott is talking a big game right now about replacing them and stripping them of their stuff and all of these other kinds of things. But the fact is, this is why Democrats always win, right? 40 Democrats, including Jasmine Crockett, Greg Kaiser, Ron, I don't know any of these people, are in Illinois. They're able to go to Illinois. Now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, as Democrats could face removal and felony charges as their absence stalls the process. I agree kind of with G Money. It's an empty threat, but that's
Greg Abbott joins us now. Thank you so much. Can you tell us from your perspective, what is the issue? Why did they leave?
So they're leaving, and they've left because they're very un-Texan. Texans don't run from a fight, and there's a fight going on in the legislature right now about redistricting as well as other things. But I'll make 2 quick points, Dana, about this. For one, to run to states like New York and Illinois to protest redistricting is kind of like running to Wisconsin to protest cheese. It's just kind of outrageous. Those are New York and Illinois are 2 hallmark states. They've already done redistricting to eliminate Republicans. But the second thing is far more serious, and that is what these Democrats have done. Just a small fraction of them were needed to break a quorum, and that small fraction is holding hostage legislation in the state of Texas where we will be able to provide assistance and reform for all of the victims of that horrific flooding that we've had in the state of Texas. Our fellow Texans are being let down and not getting the flood relief they need because these Democrats have absconded from the responsibility, and I believe they have forfeited their seats in the state legislature because they're not doing the job they were elected to do.
So the big thing is Abbott has to do this.
Greg Abbott joins us now.
Abbott
Thank you so much. Can you tell us from your perspective,
so
what is the issue? Why did they leave?
Will he do it? I don't know. I saw that, Dean. I'm trying to get that video as we speak, where the Texas Speaker of the House made that statement that they're pretty much, not allowed to be there, and I can't download that video. That's why. But thank you. I appreciate you bringing that up. Where is it? The Texas Speaker at the podium to bring up warrants. He would sign them. Yeah, let's see if they actually do it. Yeah, Texas Democrats have done this before. That's why they're doing it now. I don't think there's going to be anything. It'll be a big fight. And then eventually the Texas Democrats will come back because they'll settle. They'll settle because Democrats have better PR, and Greg Abbott and all those people, they don't like having these fights. You're right. G Money's right. They're good at losing. GPAT, that would be fantastic, right? They have to have a quorum. They have to set up a quorum in order to vote. Because ironically enough, these Democrats in Illinois and New York are talking about they're fighting for the rights of Texans when in reality you're not, because you're not there. You're running away because you're a bunch of petulant children. You're running away because you lost, because you can't get your way. So you're throwing a fit. And the idea is that, well, if we leave, we have all this. There should be something that says if they leave, then the quorum doesn't need to be called and we can pass whatever the hell we want. They should be punished. There should be a punishment for abandoning your constituents. That's what I believe. If you, and this is the thing, if you voluntarily, and every single one of these Democrats voluntarily left the state to go seek refuge somewhere else, if you voluntarily, it's not because of a flood or a natural disaster or an act of God, you couldn't get there. You are voluntarily not there. You lose any and all voting rights to represent your district because you, in fact, have abandoned your district, and we can vote on whatever the hell we want. That's what it should be. There's got to be some kind of special rule. I know there's some kind of special rule right now that Abbott has, not Abbott, that, what are we doing? Like, can you just work for me tonight? Sometimes, man. Sometimes my stupid computer just doesn't want to work. Where is it? Yeah. So this is what Ken Paxton sent. Instead of showing up to work to do the jobs they were elected to do, the House Democrat members have fled the state in a cowardly desertion of their responsibilities. He'll do everything in his power to hold them accountable. I don't know. What? Get him back here. Don't talk. Get him back here. The only reason this may happen is because it's an election year. It's an election year for Ken Paxton. And if he doesn't do it, then that's going to be a sour taste in the mouth of his voters. But I hate to say it, but I'm kind of with Catholic Jedi and I'm kind of with G Money. This is a great show, but Democrats will win because they know how to do it. They know how to win these things. And Republicans are losers who don't know how to do anything but complain, whine, and go on Fox News. That's all. That's all they know how to do. And I know I sound black-pilled and all this other kind of stuff, but let's say they do what we want them to do. They go and they arrest these representatives. Democrats will have a field day with this. Oh, look, it's like Nazi Germany all over again, the tyranny and blah, 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 blah. Even though, hey, they're supposed to be representing their citizens. Oh, well, you guys are putting them in cuffs and this is lawlessness and oh, it's the end of the world. They're going to absolutely run wild with it. So that's another reason. Republicans never want to risk looking bad in the press. And that's why they ultimately lose, because they never want to look bad in the papers, on the news, any of these other places. So we'll see. I know there's a lot of this going on right now, a lot of this happening, but the big thing is the Rangers are investigating. What's going to happen at the end of the investigation? I can investigate it. Guess what? I've investigated and they ran away. That's it. Yeah, the midterms, because the Democrats can barely get out of their own way. Yeah, so I don't know about that. Yeah, I agree, Crotchety. It's annoying that there's only one historical precedent, and it's just Germany. No matter what. Oh, here we go. We got a Rumble. All-star, a commission of half Republicans and half Democrats should have to comprise to redistrict. And in Maryland, the districts have been gerrymandered so badly, they only have one seat in a House and they only have one R seat in the House versus 7. Oh, you should look at, let's take a walk down redistricting of redistricting. There it is. I can't spell it tonight either. I'm having an absolute. I know Maryland's on here. Florida's on there. Where's Maryland? Somebody actually did use Maryland as an example. Yeah. So this is the map All-Star's talking about. Check this out. This is the map in this might. I don't know if this is a correct map, but this is their redistrict map and the way that some of this stuff looks. Let me know if that's right, because this is all that X has, but Some of these things are just gross, the way they redistrict all of this. And look how huge 1 is versus 4. And notice how all the red ones are, these are all the rural counties. These are all the cities. That's how it's district. All red. Oh, they have all this big. Yeah. Guess what? This all right here is all rural. This is where the population is. Right here in Maryland. This is where everybody lives. Doesn't matter that they have all these other ones, because in the end, it's just ridiculous. Did I even show you? No, you just looked at my fat face for 5 minutes. All right, take a look. So yeah, check it out. The red. Oh wow, look, the reds are huge. That's all rural, man. The only thing that matters is the blue inside, because that's where everybody lives. They redistricted enough to make all the blue heavy populated areas all Democrat, and all the rural areas, there you go. You can have them, but there's nobody who lives there. So I don't know if that's an updated map, All-Star, but yeah, there's a bunch of examples of redistricting and how absolutely gross it is. Where's another one? I know there's let's see, redistricting Maryland, redistricting. I know Illinois is on here. This is Illinois, so check out how great Illinois looks. Really, this District 17, yeah, that looks like it's natural. District 13, totally natural. Absolutely. Nothing wrong there. And you know, Democrats have been doing this stuff for ages. And yet Republicans try to do it one time, and it's the end of the stinking world. It's the end of the stinking world. And of course, that's just because Democrats know how to complain, and Republicans just know how to fold. That's all. I don't know. There will obviously will be updates tomorrow, and we will talk about them here on RickCast as the redistricting unfolds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is RickCast. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. Help the show grow. This amazing show that's just, you know, has all the stuff. Like, I can actually put 2 sentences together. So let's see here. From groundnews.com. So states that boycott Israeli companies will lose disaster relief fund, according to DHS. Which, are you trying to make sure that Gen Z and Gen Alpha, who already don't like Israel, will never support Israel? How is any of this America first? This idea that you must pledge your loyalty to Israel in order to get disaster relief in your own home state. On Friday, a federal emergency management agency granted notice requiring states to certify they will not sever relations with Israeli companies. In April, the Department of Homeland Security said boycotting Israel is prohibited for grant recipients, targeting the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. At least $1.9 billion is conditioned on compliance with Israeli policy. This is the exact same thing that we were talking about when the Iran bombing took place. Israel is driving our foreign policy. Now, apparently, Israel is driving your FEMA policy. Oh, Rick, you're an anti-Semite. I'm not an anti-Semite for pointing out that Texas should not have to bow to the state of Israel in order to get some money to repair a house from a flood. What in the great Googa Mooga are we doing here? How is this even possible? Oh, why is there so much anti-Semitism against Israel? Because Americans are like, I just lost my house and I can't get money for it because I didn't, genuflect to Benjamin Netanyahu last time. Who the hell runs the U.S. government? Oh, Rick, you think the Israelis run the U.S. government? I know they run enough of the damn U.S. government that you can't even get FEMA funds unless you pledge loyalty to Israeli companies. How is that not something we have to talk about? FEMA will require major cities to agree to the Israel policy to access $553 million for terrorism prevention. A University of Pennsylvania Law Journal reports at least 34 states already have anti-BDS laws and policies, and more than 30 U.S. states require public entities to certify they will not boycott Israel. And so this is from AF Post. After a massive backlash to the Trump administration's cutting of federal emergency funding to cities and states that boycott, DHS has updated its memo to remove the Israeli section, now only applying to DEI and immigrant violations. It may not actually be there. Okay, so that's not a correct map. I'll make sure I update that in the post show. But the idea is, oh well, we removed it. Oh, okay. I don't care that you removed it. I care that it was there in the first place. Oh, we got rid of it, guys. Don't worry about it. It's so bad. This was Steve Bannon's Getter post. Steve Bannon. I don't even like Steve Bannon. And the fact that even Bannon's like, dude, this is Israel first. What are we doing here? What is America first? Oh, apparently it's Israeli first. Oh, and you can't say anything because you're going to be labeled as an anti-Semite, Rick, if you say stuff like that. I'm pointing this out. I am pointing out the general idea that we had something as official U.S. policy that you had to bend the knee and support a foreign government and pledge your allegiance to a foreign government in order to receive money that is yours as an American citizen. As an American citizen, you are, and I hate to even, you are entitled to that money because it is yours. It's been stolen from you in tax funds. And now you have to bend the knee to Benjamin Netanyahu and them in order to receive it? Get out of here. Get the blank out of here with that. What a bunch of crap. That is. And guess what? I agree. Even though they removed the policy out, it may not be a quote unquote official policy, ladies and gentlemen, but there's definitely a wink and a nudge at how quickly you can receive federal funding based on your support for Israel. May not be. There probably isn't anything official. But of course, when people like me bring this up, we're labeled anti-Semites. When people like me even mention something like this, we're said, well, Rick, I mean, you don't believe that. I believe what was written in the stupid policy. That's what I believe. Well, he took it out. Why did he even go there in the first place, my man? Why was it even there in the first place? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Obviously, I'm fired up by it. I keep this up, they're gonna lump me in with Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens. All I'm doing is just reporting what is actually done. I don't even have an opinion on it. I mean, I have an opinion on it, but I don't think the Jews run the government. I do think they have an outsized influence on what happens, and we see it right there. And that is not America first. And I don't give a crap what Laura Loomer says. Well, Trump can say whatever. He can determine what I'm at. Yeah, you're a Jew. Of course you want him to be Israeli first. Anyway, let's move on to our next story. Before we get to our next story, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a quick moment here to remind you that, nope, where am I? Back here? No, what happened? I don't even know. Is this it? Yes. Okay. Remind you real quick, ladies and gentlemen, our buddy Dean Oaks, my brother Dean Oaks, still could use your help. If you can, please, if you can donate anything to his GoFundMe. He's still looking for he's got to go in for surgery, guys, and he could definitely use your help. I'm going to drop the link in the chat if you want to help out Dean. He's a brother. I consider him a brother. He's great support and a great friend of mine, and he's been nothing but just a huge blessing in my life, and anything we can help to help him with his comfort and helping him get some bills taken care of and other things. He's still got a pretty large medical debt that he's got to pay down. And so if you guys can help him, please donate at the link that I dropped here in the chat. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out to me, info@thearmedcatholic.com, on X at Stradcath, on Instagram. You know how to find me. You know how to find me and ask me whatever you want. All right. What do I think about the dual innocent? Oh, I think Thomas Massey put in a thing. He says that if you have dual citizenship, you shouldn't be able to run for public office. If you have dual citizenship, you should not be able to run for Congress. It's that simple. I mean, I know why we allow it, because there's one country we want. But outside of that, I don't think it should be. I don't think if you have dual loyalty, then you are not fit to run for Congress. It's that simple. It's that simple. That's all. Let's see. I think you're talking about you might be talking about Texas. Yeah, it could be. It could be. I hope so. We'll see. I'm not confident in the Republicans in Texas, so we'll see how that ends up. All right, last story of the night, ladies and gentlemen. From thenumbers.com, weekend projections, Fantastic Four is the quote-unquote easy winner despite troubling decline. So Fantastic Four First Steps will remain the top grossing movie in theaters this weekend with ease, with The Bad Guys 2 and The Naked Gun opening in second and third place. However, the superhero movie dropped by 66%. Remember, they were hoping between 45 and 55 million for like a 60% drop. And Fantastic Four came in with 38,695,000. Look at this per theater average the first weekend, which was $28,000 per theater. Look at the second weekend. $9,381 per theater. Same amount of theaters. It's a 67% drop. This movie is DOA. And YouTube movie reviewers and Movie X, they've been arguing about this all day. What is it? Superhero fatigue. Oh, the Fantastic Four was so good. How can Jurassic World do all these other things? Yada, 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 yada. All right. First of all, the reason why Jurassic World has the most money, Superman has the second most money, and Fantastic Four has the third most money does not have anything to do with their actual films, with how good those films were. It all has to do with the order in which they were released. The average consumer sees 2 to 3 movies a year. A year. And guess what? All 3 of these films had a family focus, right? They were all essentially geared towards younger audiences. And Jurassic World just came in first and took all the money. Then you had Superman, and there was some hype around Superman because it was a brand new DC James Gunn film, blah, 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 blah. So that did pretty decently, and it scored pretty well because it may not be a perfect movie, but it's better than Fantastic Four, which there are people that I respect the hell out of it. I'm not going to name them because it's going to seem like I'm dogging them in the YouTube movie space that say that Fantastic Four is a better movie than Superman, and I just can't get by it. Fantastic Four they're like, oh, Fantastic Four is a good movie, but Pedro Pascal is not my favorite. Then it's not a good movie because he's not a good Reed Richards. If you have a terrible Reed Richards, it's like if you have a terrible Superman, then the Superman movie's not good. If you have a terrible Reed Richards, then the Fantastic Four movie by definition sucks. But they were oh, it's good here, and I like these performances and the characters. No. Either they get the cast right, and so people have been twisting themselves up into pretzels trying to figure this out. But the fact of the matter is, Jurassic World, Superman, and Fantastic Four all had similar audiences. They did. They're all geared towards children, young kids. And Jurassic World just came out first. And so parents were like, oh, okay, we'll go see the Jurassic. It's also in the beginning of the summer. You know, back on the back end of July, people start thinking more about school. And don't get me wrong, Guardians of the Galaxy was released in the first weekend of August. Signs from M. Night Shyamalan, that was released in the first weekend of August. Can actually be a sneaky date for a film. Naked Gun actually didn't do too badly in its opening. But the third movie geared towards kids in 4 weeks, parents are like, I don't have time to take you to another film. I can't afford to take you to another film. And kids are like, I want, I saw the Jurassic World movie. That was fun. Because parents would be like, oh, we'll wait until Fantastic Four comes out on Disney Plus. Or we'll wait for Superman to come out on HBO Max. And then you can watch it there. So that's the reason. It's really order of appearance. And so the fact of the matter is, Fantastic Four, look at these numbers. Drop. If we remember, we looked at Superman. Superman had consistent numbers. Let's see if we can find Superman here, if this thing's going to work quickly enough. Give me that full weekend chart. Superman came in fourth, which was actually pretty good. Let's see. I know it's taking a minute. I'm running on a 2018 MacBook. Let's see here. So when did it first come out? It first came out that July weekend. So its numbers were actually pretty decent. Minus 33, 17, 59, 33, 31, 7. Then it was 51. You see how it was up and down. There were some positive days, some negative days, but it went back and forth. Fantastic Four, negative, except for like Bargain Tuesday. And then it did okay. It went up on Friday, and then it went up a little bit on Saturday, and then this is down 80% from Friday to Friday. You can't, because 24 million on the first Friday for Fantastic Four. Then it was 11. That's 80%. From Friday to Friday. That is bad word of mouth, folks. This movie is dead. I don't care what people say. The movie's if it makes 400 million, it'll be a blessing for that film. It does not make 500 million. It does not make 500 million. It's already at 367. Yeah, but once August, we're in the first week of August. It may leg out to 500, barely scratching the surface of it. But they needed this film to make $1 billion, and it's not even gonna come close to that. So I'm not shocked. I said after I watched this film, I said it the first weekend, I don't think this movie's gonna make $500 million. I don't think it's going to do well. I think it's going to trail off. But everybody said, oh, it was a good film and better than this movie. All right, man. You can say what you want. I don't know where you people are smoking that you think that Fantastic Four is a decent film. It's got a great pro-life message, but that's, that doesn't carry the film for any of it. So it is what it is. These are the numbers for the weekend. Fantastic Four made 38 million, which remember they thought it was 45 to 55. Bad Guys made 21. I think it was 25 they thought it was going to make. That's right near the window. Naked Gun, they thought 20 to 25. So it came in under that. It initially said 15 million and it kind of stuck on that 15 million. That's still not bad because the production budget's 42, and I think it's going to have pretty decent legs. Let's see what the cinema score for Naked Gun. I think it's an A-. It's an A-, so it should have some decent legs on it. We'll see. Superman, 13 million, which puts it at 316 domestic. Worldwide, I think it's at like 550 at this point, which is not great. It's not great. They needed this movie to hit 7, and it's probably got 50 million. It's probably gonna make around 600 in the end. We'll see if that happens. But Jurassic World Rebirth, whatever you want to say about it, it was the first one to come out. Kids love dinosaur movies, and it was a dinosaur movie. It wasn't a good movie, but it stuck to what they thought it was. It's at 766. I think it can leg out to 40. I think it can leg another 40 million out to get to that 800 million mark. Even that 800 million mark is a $300 million drop that we all believed from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom to Dominion. Those are all $300 million less, and now this one. So it's all kind of keeping in line with the numbers that they have together. I don't even know what that. Oh, that's whatever. That movie's whatever. F1, I think that's at 550. So that's doing pretty well. So it's not bad. This is it. This was supposed to be the month that saved movie theaters, and it's not great. It is not great at all, considering what the performances were of these films. But hey, that's, Marvel destroyed their brand with Disney Plus and the woke agenda and the fact that Ike Perlmutter's not there. Ike Perlmutter used to be quality control for Kevin Feige. You can't do woke crap, essentially, is what that Ike Perlmutter was. Once they got rid of him, everything went downhill, coinciding with the end of Endgame. Most people were like, all right, well, this is over for me. Yeah, Marvel after Endgame should have taken a 3-year pause. Now, Disney told them to release crap on Disney Plus because they needed content. So Disney destroyed Marvel. But the fact of the matter is, they should have paused any development. So when they came back, it was really an event. Like, oh man, the MCU is back and we're ready to go. But they just kept plugging away, and they really hastened the decline of the most profitable franchise in the history of film, right? You could say, I think they made like $21 billion or $22 billion out of all the films that were released from the MCU. So they made their money back on that $4 billion purchase. But outside of it, the DC is okay. I don't think that there's not a ton of excitement for it. We'll see. But outside of that, we'll see. You saw the Skeleton Twins. I don't even know what Skeleton Twins are. That's interesting. I'll have to check it out, but I probably won't. I did see the terrible War of the Worlds movie on Amazon starring Ice Cube. I have a review on it at RickCast Reviews. It is terrible. It's probably the worst movie I've seen all year. But, it is what it is. All right, folks, that's it for this episode of RickCast. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Do me a huge favor on your way out the door. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Help the show grow as much as possible. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will talk to you tomorrow night here on RickCast Reviews. God bless, and until that day comes, free Dexter Taylor.